Alright, working on another sculpture done in the ferro cement technique. This is the rebar frame. It's already been vented around. It's going to be some branches. There's going to be 2 or 3 birds sitting on top of this. It'll be like a tree limbs, kind of bent over, growing out of the ground. The birds will be sitting on them. The rebar's been brushed off. All the rest has been brushed off. It's been painted, primered. Just wired this together. I didn't weld it, just because it's not load bearing really. It's not, nobody's going to be sitting on it or anything, so I just wired it together. And then I'm getting ready to put the plaster lath on it. Going to cut some strips, wrap it around the rebar and wire that on, and then I'll fashion the birds out of the plaster lath as well. I might put a few smaller branches popping off here and there with some smaller wire. Alright, got it wrapped with the plaster lath. It's on there good and tight, so it's going to give a good amount of surface for concrete to adhere to, get around the wire lath and get down into the rebar. So it's just I cut strips of wire lath and then wrapped it around real tight, wired it on. So that's, you got to be careful. Wire lath can be very sharp. Use gloves, use big heavy welding gloves if you got them, and be very careful, it will cut you. Kind of go over it lightly with your hand, maybe just to see if you got, like, here's a sharp point sticking out. I want to poke that in. That way you don't get cut while you're putting the concrete on. I'm going to fashion the birds now and get them fashioned on top out of some wire lath, and then they'll be ready to put some concrete on. Alright, I got the wire all wrapped around, got another little branch on. Might put another branch or 2 on, just little bitty ones sticking out. I've got the birds roughed in with wire. Not sure if I'm going to make the birds more realistic or make them more like folk art type birds. They're just roughed in with wire right now, so they'll look a little better once they get some concrete on them. Alright, getting ready to start putting the concrete on here. Trying something different. This is a mortar mix that's pre-done. You can get it at the big box stores. This is Quickcrete spray on a mortar mix. It's going to try this and then their grout brand over the top. See if that works any better. It's a really fine mixture. Normally I use a fine sand with just Portland cement. But I was going to try this out, seen some other people try this and see how it works. I'm also going to mix in fibers. These are like 3/4 inch fibers. Going to mix those in with it. And then got the wire armature ready. And I'll use the concrete bonding adhesive there instead of water for this. So I'm going to get started and I'll show you what first coat's just going to be, to cover it all. It's not going to have the detail. It'll be a scratch coat, and then I'll come back with the more of the grout mix. I'm going to try that over the top for the actual detail. Alright, I got the scratch coat on. See all the grooves I made in it. Just use for the small one, I just used a fork. Oops. Just use a fork there to cut the grooves. On larger pieces I got some other stuff. We got the birds roughed in. Got the tree branch all roughed in. Started adding, I still got to carve this. It's kind of in the shadow here. Still got to do some carving over here. Started adding some extra that I had. I'll do a little sculpting on those pieces. Start filling out the actual bark on the branch. Alright, just get started putting on a little bit of the next coat, doing some sculpting in there, carving. Got a knot, got some bark falling off, some of the wood underneath the bark. There'll be another coat on top of this to make it nice and slick. Get some more details in there. Just getting started on the detailing. Alright, we got the piece turned over upside down so I can work on the bottom a little better. Started doing some more carving down here, adding more additional of the grout mix, of the cement mix. And then I use another product called Rockite to kind of go over the top. Did some sanding on it as well. I'll try to show more of that on the top side. Just want to get the bottom done first. But it's starting to come together. Get the top and then get it colored. It's starting. I added quite a bit of material to the underside of the bird's tails to give them some strength. I think it's starting to turn out pretty nice. Try to zoom in on a little more here. There's some knots over here. Just kind of give it some texture. Do a little more work on it. Then move on to the top. Alright, I have it flipped back over. Put another coat on top. Got some more detail added. And I'm getting ready to put the final coat on. So it'll look more like this down here. Just about finished with it. And a final shot of the birdies on a branch. Just wanted to look like a little folk art piece. Not a lot of details in the birds. Painted those up. So, just sitting here in the flower garden. Thanks for watching.